Good evening, everybody. You're watching the Just Keep Up podcast, where we're one step ahead. I'm Kurt Johnson. This is Pete Zindros. We're excited to be back to you guys here on this Monday. We have a great show planned for you tonight. We have a lot to talk about, lots to get into. Big show, guys. Our featured story tonight, we're going to be talking all about Ben Johnson, Lions offensive coordinator, got promoted. So he got hired as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. So we're going to be talking all about that and how we think him and Caleb are going to mesh. What's the Chicago Bears ceiling for next year, assuming that they keep the same players, etc. So that's our featured story tonight, guys. And then as far as the show, we're just going to be going over the four games in the divisional round, and then we're going to be going over if we got our predictions right or not. So it's going to be a great show, guys. Before we get into it, I'm going to remind you to like and subscribe, help us to impact and to reach as many people as possible. And with addition to that, guys, follow me, guys, on YouTube at Kurt's Philosophy if you're interested in the world's deepest, darkest secrets. We've been doing great with that, guys. I gained 50 subscribers in the last 2 weeks on Kurt's Philosophy, guys. So if you're interested, definitely go check that out. Also at Kurt's Philosophy on Rumble as well. Bro, you got anything before we start the show?
No.
All right, guys. Yeah, we're gonna jump right into this thing, man. So we'll save our feature story for last, guys. So we're gonna go over the game. So we're gonna go over Chiefs Texans first. Okay, so the Chiefs beat the Texans 23-14. What's your take on that game?
I mean, the game pretty much it went almost as I expected it to. I expected it to be a little bit more of a blowout, but the score was 23 to 14, you said, right? Yeah, I think my prediction was 30 to 13. So the Texans, they kept it closer than I thought they would. Like their defense was playing well. But yeah, I mean, we were both right on the pick. The Chiefs won and they're in their seventh straight AFC title game now.
Yep, I predicted they would win, and I predicted that CJ Stroud would struggle. Now, did he play bad? No, he didn't play bad by any stretch of the imagination, but he certainly didn't do enough to even come close to winning, right? Like it got to the point where people were complaining about the refs, and when it starts to become about the refs versus what you couldn't do, then that becomes an issue, right? Like how about score a touchdown during the game, right? Like how about have, like do things that are conducive to winning, not have sacks, bad sacks on third down, etc. Like, when it starts becoming, oh, Mahomes flop, that's why they lost, you got to do a little bit of growing up, right? And the Texans aren't there just yet. So this game went exactly how I thought it would go. I believe my final prediction was 27-13. So, a little off, but right there in terms of it being close. Now I get it, it was 12-13, middle of the third, but like let's be honest, like none of us really thought the Texans were gonna win that game. I mean, they played tough, so respectable, I guess, but yeah, they weren't gonna win that game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely give CJ Stroud a bit of credit though, because I mean, he did take a beating that game. I'm not gonna lie, like he had to run a lot. He was getting hit out of bounds. He took a lot of sacks. Like he played tough. I'm not gonna lie, he played tough. You know, but ultimately they just weren't the better team. But I will give him some respect for this game. Like he toughed it out. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I mean, bro, you're not gonna have the best offensive line ever, bro, for your entire career. Like you're gonna have some shitty old lines, bro. You're gonna struggle. You have to try to just do what you can and make it work, bro. So I mean, I never believed in the Texans. I said they were a terrible team, and scoring 14 points in the playoffs. I think that defies not a very good team, or at least a competitive team when it comes to the top five teams in the NFL, right? Um, but yeah, yeah, we'll move on. We'll move into our next game, which was a shocker. The Commanders beat the Lions 45-31. What's your take on that?
Honestly, man, yeah, that was a big upset. I don't think anybody saw that coming. I mean, praise to Jaden Daniels for making all of this happen. I mean, the Commanders were literally nobodies last season, and now they have a chance to win the Super Bowl. They're one of the four best teams in the NFL. This is probably the greatest rookie season ever. Not first year starting season, but actual like rookie season. This is probably the greatest one we've had. So we're basically witnessing history right now. So I give Jaden Daniels a lot of props for that. But as far as the Lions go, man, I mean, their defense was playing bad. Jared Goff was turning the football over. And honestly, bro, I mean, their coordinators are leaving. I mean, Ben Johnson literally left today to go to the Bears. So I don't know. I mean, you could say maybe Aiden Hutchinson coming back is going to help, but is he even going to be like available for next year? Because that injury he had was pretty bad. So realistically, are the Lions done? No, they're not. But you do have to raise a little bit of eyebrows moving forward, considering the coaching staff that they're going to be losing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they hit their floor, but this was definitely their ceiling. I mean, number one seed in the NFC, you have the bye. Now you have the opportunity to play the Commanders, a rookie quarterback at home. This definitely does feel like their ceiling, right? And so, like you said, they're losing Ben Johnson. They're probably going to lose their DC, Aaron Glenn, right? They may even lose their quarterback coach. I mean, who knows? He might be promoted to an OC. Who knows? Right. So, the way that Jared Goff played this year, I am surprised, though, that, they turned the ball over way too much. I mean, 5 turnovers in a playoff game, like you're not going to win playoff games turning the ball over, or it's 4 or 5, one of those. But that's a crazy amount of turnovers. And that just, you're not going to win the playoffs doing that, bro. You're probably only going to get the ball for them to score 31 points and turn the ball over 4 times speaks to how well oiled a machine that offense is. Like they turned it over 4 times and still scored 30, right? So if you negate some of those turnovers, you get to the 40 points that I was saying that they could have scored, right? And then, their defense, I thought their defense would play a little better. Now I know they have 13 guys on IR, and it was only a matter of a time before, like I said, these defensive guys is going to catch up to you. I mean, I just feel sick for them that if they had their team, if they had them healthy, this team is in the Super Bowl. I don't think anybody, questions that. But it's just the fact, you got all these guys on IR. They had dudes on the team where they said the head coach didn't even know their names. Right? He had no idea who you, what's your name? Yeah, you get out there. Like, and that's not a joke. Like literally dudes got signed to the practice squad and onto the team, and he didn't even meet them yet. It's just like, oh shit, like what's your name? Get out there, because they didn't have any guys. So when it gets that bad and you're playing these guys in playoff games, you're gonna lose. I thought that this wouldn't be the game that they lost, but they ended up losing this one. Yeah, I mean Jaden Daniels is he's balling out, man. I mean he's very poised for a quarterback. The opposite I feel of some other quarterbacks, the opposite I feel of CJ Stroud, right? Where he's very poised, he's calm, he'll make the throws that he needs to make. He'll use his legs when he needs to use them. And there's no complaining, there's no whining, there's no crying, right? These are the things that I want in my superstar quarterback. So I definitely think he's going to be a superstar. They're going to get trounced next round. I'm going to give my prediction now. They're gonna, the Eagles are going to get them all the way, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, shout out to them for getting as far as they got. But yeah, let's move on. Let's get into, in my personal opinion, the scariest game, which was the Eagles beat the Rams 28-22. What's your take on that game?
I was almost spot on. My prediction was 28-21. So I was damn near spot on with the game. I mean, honestly, I didn't even look at the weather before the game. I didn't see that it was going to snow. The game, even though the score was basically what I predicted it to be, the game was a little different watching it from what I expected, right? So it was a pretty slow game for both offenses. Like, guys weren't getting open, guys were getting sacked, runs were getting stuffed all game. But let me tell you something though. I'm gonna shit on AJ Brown real quick. I don't think reading that book is doing much for you, buddy. He had 2 huge drops that game. Like, bro, there was one where he dropped like a 50-yard pass, which would have had them like at the 2 yard line. He dropped that. And then he dropped like another one, which was like a 5 yard like
He
slant
juggled
route or
it.
something like that. And that would have gotten him the first down, but he didn't catch it. It was third down, and then Jalen Hurts got sacked, and that ruined the drive. So AJ Brown, I don't think that book is doing much for you, buddy. Like, focus on the damn game, bro. Like, bro was saying he's reading to be prepared mentally, buddy. You have to be locked in mentally by watching the damn game. Be locked in on the game. Don't be worried about no other shit out there. He was saying stuff like, oh, like physically I can take it. It's just mentally. Bro, in order to be locked in mentally, you have to be locked in on the game, not a book. Like, okay, bro, you want to try and prepare for the game by reading a book mentally? Sure, do that before the game. Don't do it in the middle of the game while you're on the bench, bro. Like, bro, that's not a good look for the team. And I mean, yeah, bro. I mean, the Eagles O line, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm definitely questioning them after this game, bro, because I think they gave up 7 sacks that game, bro. 7 freaking sacks. I mean, Saquon Barkley, the moment he found like a small hole, he was going out of his mind, bro. Like, I mean, he had like over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, he had that one. Jalen Hurts had that 140-yard rushing touchdown on the first drive. So, yeah, I mean, basically their scores were off big plays. But if you watch the game, their offense wasn't very good. Like, guys were dropping passes, the line wasn't blocking. So their offense wasn't very good. Okay. I mean, they won off big plays and off defense because the Rams clearly couldn't handle the snow.
Yeah, so I have a completely different outlook on the game. I mean, and a lot of people have said this as well, but if it wasn't snowing, and now a lot of people said they can't prove this. Obviously, we can't prove this. This is hypothetical. What if? But if it wasn't snowing, I mean, the Rams win this game. I mean, the Rams played better, right? They had the Eagles had two explosive plays, and that's the game. They had the Saquon explosive run, and then they had the Jalen Hurts explosive run. If you remove those two plays away from the game, the Rams played a better game offensively and defensively, which I thought that they would play, which is why I predicted the Rams to win, right? But factoring in the weather and, it was snowing and everything else like that, the Rams obviously they play in LA, bro. They're not dealing with that shit. So, it's a little different. So a lot, and I'm of the belief of that as well, 100%. Like the Eagles played a better game even in the snow, but it came down to one or two spectacular plays from their superstars, which gave them the win. And even then, right, like Matthew Stafford drove them right down the field and had an opportunity to win the game, right? So, the game went how I thought it would go, but Matthew Stafford hit the game-winning drive as he's done so many times. We've seen it with Matthew Stafford, but I don't have questions about the Eagles' offensive line. I thought that they played brilliant, right? What it comes down to in the snow is, pass rushers, if they can put their foot in the ground, they make it really complicated on the offensive linemen to block in the snow. So especially pass block. When you can run block, you're going forward. When you pass block, you're going backward. So you're pedaling backward and you're 350 pounds in the snow and you're slipping and sliding. So I don't have any concerns with it all. And Jalen Hurts was immobile during that game. He couldn't move, right? So Jalen Hurts was a statue. He was a shell of himself in that game because he got injured with the knee. So, you go from an immobile quarterback to playing in the snow to, all of these different factors. You're going to give up 7 sacks. And Jalen Hurts holds the ball more than any quarterback that I think I can remember. Like the guy just sits there and holds and holds and holds and holds. And it's like they're bad sacks. You got to give the football away. You got to do something, right? And again, this is the second game now where you're seeing it in the playoffs where Jalen Hurts is just getting carried. I mean, it is what it is, man. We have to call a spade a spade. People are saying that Jalen Hurts is just doing what the Eagles are asking him to do. I don't think they're asking him to get sacked 7 times. I don't think they're asking him to, underthrow balls and overthrow balls. I don't think they're asking him, yes, to hand a ball off to Saquon Barkley, but when a play is needed to be made or whatever the case may be, he hasn't been making it, right? He's just been getting bailed out, by Saquon Barkley with a 60-yarder at the end of the game, right? But if it wasn't for that, like we all can agree, Jalen Hurts did not play good in that game, right? Like he didn't play well. He didn't, and it's no debate. Matthew Stafford outplayed him. There's no debate there. Matthew Stafford was spectacular, right? If some of those wide receivers make those catches, Higbee dropped a couple. It's like, bro, you got to catch those, right? Puka Nicole was struggling until he made that amazing catch on the last drive. So with all that being said, bro, I mean, I thought that the Rams played better in every single play versus those two plays, and that's the game especially in a snowstorm like that.
Yeah, I mean, the snow definitely like affected both sides, that's for sure. Like the line, not blocking very well, Hurts not being able to move, and
Mm-hmm.
then AJ Brown was freaking dropping passes. I mean, like I said, I guess we'll have to see what they do next week, in a clear game, hopefully. But yeah, bro, I mean, that game was kind of just all over the place. Yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts, yeah, I mean, he was basically just a game manager that game. Like, I mean, he ain't turned the ball over or nothing like that, but he was just making simple reads. Anytime he had an attempt to make a big play, somebody was either dropping it or his line was breaking down and he couldn't really move too well. So that game was kind of just all over the place. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to see next week how they respond. I mean, they're playing Washington though. They are the favorites, so they should win that game.
Yeah, they should. And again, if this is a game that Jalen Hurts, I hope that Jaden will. I know this is going to happen, but we all know this. And Pete, I don't know if you'll admit it, but the truth is, and this is how you know Jalen Hurts isn't that good. If Pete had to put his life on it, not who's going to win the game, but who would play better, and I'm not even talking about just having better numbers, but who would play better, I guarantee you with Pete's life on the line, he would say Philly will win, but Jaden Daniels will play better and his numbers will look better. And if you say that, that means a rookie is better than Jalen Hurts. I'm just saying. So I'm just saying. I
Well, well, no, I don't think he's going to outplay him. But either way, I think Jaden Daniels is one of the 6, 7 best quarterbacks in the game at this point. Regardless, I mean, bro, he's the greatest rookie quarterback we've ever seen. There's no denying that. Like he's not like a normal rookie. So even if you want to put him ahead of Hurts, like I won't be mad at that. But personally, I don't think he's better. But I think he will be better probably starting next season and on, though, in my opinion, because the guy's just tremendous.
Yeah, I mean he is better. I mean, there's the eye test tells you that he's just better, right? And so well we'll go over our takes on Friday, but yeah, I mean we'll see what happens. But again during this game, they're not going to continue to win with Jalen Hurts playing like this. It's just not going to happen. He's going to have to step up, and if he doesn't step up against the Commanders and they lose, people will finally understand what I've been saying all along. But yeah, we'll move on. We'll get into our last game, which was probably the most anticipated game and the best game. The Bills and the Ravens. So the Bills beat the Ravens 27-25. What's your take on that game?
Damn, I'm not gonna lie, I feel bad for Lamar Jackson, bro. Like, I've been hearing a bunch of people on the media say, yeah, Lamar Jackson choked once again. Like, yeah, Mark Andrews dropped the pass, but Lamar had 2 turnovers. Hold on, guys. Let me break it down real quick. First of all, one of his turnovers, if you go look back and watch, bro, I'm pretty sure the wide receiver ran the wrong route on the play where Lamar threw a pick because Lamar was kind of trying to lead him on as if he was running a go route, but instead he ran kind of like an out route, like 10 yards before the pass. So there was miscommunication there. Maybe Lamar forgot to play. Maybe the receiver ran the wrong route. I don't know what it was, but that definitely looked like somebody fucked up the play there. Okay. And I'm pretty sure it was the wide receiver. So, one, you can't even blame Lamar for that big. Now, two, okay, yeah, he fumbled the ball one time in the first half. Who gives a fuck? Nobody's flawless, bro. Like, bro, he played very good that game, okay? He brought them back, and he should have went to overtime, bro. Mark Andrews' fat ass can't fucking drop that, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, this guy fucking fumbled the ball like two drives before that, and then he chokes the game tying play. Like, come on, bro, that just can't happen. But as far as the Bills, I mean, yeah, I mean, Josh Allen did it once again. He did it once again, bro. He's in his first AFC title game without the diva Stephon Diggs. I don't know if y'all remember this or not, but at the beginning of the season, I was saying the Bills are probably going to get better without Diggs. And I mean, yeah, I mean, they're getting better results than they did last year with that diva. So it seems like I was right about that.
Yeah, so I have the complete opposite take you do on Lamar Jackson, okay? So how much blame is on Lamar Jackson? The lion's share of the blame is on Lamar Jackson. And I'll tell you why the lion's share of the blame is on Lamar Jackson. Because those who have great power have great what? Responsibility, right? So I'm not going to hold Mark Andrews or a wide receiver or the defense to the same standard as Lamar Jackson, right? Lamar Jackson is a three-time MVP. So in these games, what we can't have is you to have one of your worst games of the season. And we can go back and look at Lamar Jackson's playoff losses. They're five now. Out of all of those five losses, he's played one of or the worst game of that season in the postseason. And that just cannot happen. Again, he played a good, I don't even think he was great. He played a good second half. The second half, they gave the ball to Derrick Henry. He had an incredible last drive. I'll give him that. But the only reason why Mark Andrews was in the position to bobble a catch in the first place is because Lamar Jackson had two unexcusable turnovers to start the game. And when you put yourself behind the eight ball like that, now you have to go away from your game plan. The Ravens are 9-0 when Derrick Henry has 20 plus rushes. So what does this tell you? We need to be methodical. We shouldn't turn the ball over, and we got to run the ball with Derrick Henry. Well, what happens when your best player has two first quarter turnovers? Now, all of a sudden, we're down 21-10 at halftime. Do you think we can hand the ball off now? No, we're pressed for time, right? So now we have to air out the ball. We got to do away from the game plan, right? So it's not just, oh, Lamar Jackson played good in the second half or he had a good drive or whatever the case may be. No, you have great power, so it comes with great responsibility. You have the responsibility of conducting the offense in the right and the correct manner. We can't do that if you're turning the ball over, putting us behind the eight ball, right? And that's what he did. So his two early turnovers dictated how the entire rest of the game would go. So yes, he gets the lion's share of the blame because the game would have gone differently if he didn't have those two early turnovers. And again, and this last thing I'll say before I turn it over to you is that, again, and I'm not trying to be too hard on Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson, he hasn't had a two turnover game since, can anyone guess? The AFC Championship game last year. So again, you have to say, wow, Lamar Jackson hasn't had a two turnover game since, I don't know, the biggest game that he played prior to the game that he's playing in right now. So yeah, you do have the question, and a lot of this blame does have to be on him. You've played mistake-free football all year. And when do you have your most mistakes? When it matters most. Interesting. Last year, you have a fantastic regular season. When do you decide to play your worst game? In the biggest game of that year. Fantastic. And we have three other incidences where this has happened. So yes, this game is fully on Lamar Jackson.
Up until last year, I agree with your points, but not for this game, though. Like I said, bro, that one pick, bro, it literally wasn't his fault. The receiver just ran the wrong route. So that one right there, you can't even blame for him.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
one, one, we don't know that, right? Some like Tony Romo, for example, he said that's Matt Milano dictating the route for them, right? So because he got pressure, Lamar had to throw it just a little early, and he didn't know where his receiver was going to turn. Either way, don't throw the fucking pass, right? Like, if anything, we can make excuses all day for why there's turnovers, but the fact of the matter is you haven't done that in 17 games, and now you decide to do that? and we have a repeated issue of you doing this when it's the biggest games, yes, I'm going to say that's on you, bro.
Well, yeah, just by judging off the play, though, it seemed like somebody, like one of them made a mistake. I don't know if the receiver ran the wrong route or Lamar like made a mental error, but from what it seemed like, though, Lamar was trying to lead him on for a go route, and the receiver cut out instead. Like Lamar didn't even like try throwing it towards the side. He tried like leading him on as if it's a go route. So I'm pretty sure the receiver ran the wrong route. There's
Well, if the receiver did run the wrong route, why did Lamar Jackson go to the sideline after and tell all of his teammates, "My bad, my bad, my bad"? If the receiver ran the wrong route,
bro, he's being a leader, bro. He's taking accountability for it, as any leader would. Even bro, leaders do this all the time. Where even
bro.
if a game isn't on them or a play isn't on them, they're still gonna try and take accountability for it. Like that's just what a lot of leaders do. Like even Tom Brady, for example, used to do that. If something wasn't on him, he'd still go on the sidelines. You know, he might scream a little, but he's also gonna hold himself accountable as a
Nah,
leader
bro.
should.
Yeah, he's gonna hold himself accountable, but bro. If the receiver ran the wrong route in a divisional round of the playoffs, you're going to go to that wide receiver and try to get on the same page. You're not going to go on the sideline and just say, "Yeah, guys, that's on me, my bad, my bad." You're going to go to that receiver and be like, "Yo, like, what were we doing? What's going on?" You're going to try to get on the same page. There was none of that. He just apologized to everyone on the team. So that tells you what I'm saying, where he got pressured, right? And he threw it before he could even look at where the receiver was going to go. It looks like it was a choice route. So it matters about where the leverage is if the corner is giving you leverage, inside or outside leverage. He couldn't see that because the pressure was there, so he threw it and just hoped that it would get there, right? And if you don't believe me, right, there was interviews all week with John Harbaugh about Lamar Jackson's comments because he said he gets antsy in the playoffs, right? He makes decisions out of impulse because he's too antsy, and he said he's working on that. That play is an antsy play where you're anticipating something being there because of pressure and it's not there. That's what happened, bro. It's not the wide receiver. That's fully on Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, another reason why he could have been saying my bad is it could have also been a chemistry issue, you know? Because that happens sometimes where you think a guy's going to do something, but he does something else. Like, there's situations like that.
Of
That could be like
course.
another reason why Lamar was saying my bad, my bad. But either way, excluding that one, the next play, or what was it, 2 drives later, he fumbled. Okay, that one was on him. That one was on him. Okay, but am I gonna blame the whole entire game because of that? No, I'm not. Lamar did play a good football game. I mean, the Ravens scored 25 points. You know, it should have been 27, but Andrews decided not to catch the football the last play. Not to mention he fumbled the ball like 2 drives before that. That's another drive where they got killed off right there. And it's like, yeah, bro. I mean, Lamar played a good game. You know, the offense scored points, but unfortunately, Mark Andrews didn't capitalize towards the end of the game twice.
It's not on Mark Andrews, bro. It's not on Mark Andrews, bro. Mark Andrews had the same amount of mistakes as Lamar Jackson. The same amount of mistakes. So if you're gonna say, well, Mark Andrews did it in a more crucial part, who should be stepping up in the more crucial part? It should be Lamar Jackson. So how I don't understand how the main criticism is being held towards Mark Andrews. They had the same amount of bad plays. Lamar Jackson had more turnovers, and Lamar Jackson had more meaningful turnovers. And I'll tell you why they were more meaningful because right one drive the Bills don't score on it, but they get good field position, and then the next one they score a touchdown on it, right? Versus Mark Andrews, he had they scored a touchdown on one, and then the other one he dropped to make it a 2-point conversion. But the only reason why they needed to make it a 2-point conversion in the first place is because Lamar Jackson missed the pass to go for it on the first 2-point conversion in the fourth quarter, or it was the third one or the other. I think it was the third quarter. But either way, he missed the pass there. So there were plenty of chances for Lamar Jackson to go grab the game as he done all year long to make sure that his teammates aren't in a position to fuck it up. And he didn't do that. So he gets the lion's share of the blame, bro. Like we can't say, yes, Lamar Jackson played great when he had two bad turnovers that he hadn't done all year, He had two bad turnovers, and that dictated how the game is now going to be played, right? So now they can't play Ravens football because they're down 21-10. That is completely on Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, we already went over the turnovers part. Yeah, I mean, the 2 point conversion, okay, nobody was open. It didn't work out. But, bro, literally in the fourth quarter, bro, I mean, you say you want Lamar Jackson to step up. Bro, he did, though. I mean, what do you want him to do, bro? If Mark Andrews is getting the ball, right, which Lamar's throwing to him, he's fumbling, and then he's dropping a 2 point conversion. Like, what more is Lamar supposed to do for him? Like, he's hitting all the pass.
Not
He's just fumbling or dropping the pass. So it's like, bro, you say you want Lamar to step up. He did, but I mean, he can't do much if his guys are just gonna fumble or drop it. If once he
okay.
throws it to.
Let me ask you a question,
Mm-hmm.
honest question, and this will tell you the answer. If Lamar Jackson doesn't have those two bad turnovers, do the Ravens win the game? Yes or no?
Maybe yes, maybe not. But like I said, bro, like I said, one of the plays I'm not even really gonna fully blame on him because it seemed like it was like a chemistry issue or something. I don't really know. The fumble, okay, that's one bad mistake. I'm not gonna blame the whole game on him over one bad fumble, bro. Like,
But
come
you're
on, bro.
doing
I'm
the same
not
thing
doing
with
that.
Mark. You're doing the same thing with Mark Andrews right now. You're saying he didn't catch the 2 point conversion, so that's why they lost. You're doing the same thing with him, but you're
Bro,
just saying it's the last play, so it's on him. But it's like, bro,
bro,
there's other factors during the game, though.
okay, bro. Listen, the fumble played a factor and the pick as well, which I already spoke on the pick. But bro, Mark Andrews is making these mistakes down the stretch. That's even worse. Like, bro, he fumbled the ball and then he
It's not
dropped
worse, bro.
he dropped the pass where they could have had a chance to win the game. It's like, bro, like he fucked it up at the worst possible time, bro. Like, bro, Lamar stepped up in that fourth quarter. I mean, he can't do much more for Andrews. Like, bro, he's getting him the ball. I mean, he's just not doing anything with it. He can't really do much more for him. I mean, he stepped up. He did.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to agree to disagree, bro. But I just feel like as a superstar, when the weight is on your shoulders and you play and you choose to have your most turnover game in the postseason over and over and over again, I'm seeing a common theme. So you could say, well, he took them down and had the game winning drive, or could have had the game winning drive. One, it wasn't even a game winner because even if they scored the 2 point conversion and hit it, you're still giving a minute and 30 seconds with two timeouts for Josh Allen to get a field goal, right? So that's the first thing. And then if they don't do that, there's overtime, right? So that's the first thing. And then the second thing, and let's be honest, who do we trust more at home in a playoff game? Like Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is, right, before it even gets to that point, if he doesn't make those crucial mistakes, it wouldn't have even gone to that. We both agree that the Ravens are the better team. There's no denying that. So what's the factor in it? The turnovers, right? And when you look at it, your best player had two of those turnovers. So yes, he's going to get the lion's share of the blame. It's quite simple to me, bro. Like you're going to blame Mark Andrews for one or two plays at the end of the game, but it's like our leader put us in this position in the first place where he hadn't done that all year. If he's playing his worst game of the season constantly, we have to factor that in.
Yeah, I don't agree. Like I said, I'm blaming Lamar for one thing, and that's just the fumble. Mark Andrews in the fourth quarter fucked up two drives, bro. He missed. He didn't catch the 2 point conversion, and he also fumbled. And that's literally when the Ravens needed scores too. And I mean,
Sure.
God forbid they were still in the game, but they fumbled their chance to win the game literally just because of those two plays right there, bro. Literally. So I
It's
mean,
fine.
Mark Andrews is to blame more than Lamar.
Okay. It's fine, bro. You could blame Mark Andrews, but then guess what? You're gonna have the same thing happen next year, and the same thing happen next year, and the same thing happen next year. And you know what you're gonna say? You're gonna say, well, yeah, Lamar had one or two bad plays, but like other guys could have made plays. And it's like, yeah, that's the point. Like Lamar Jackson needs to step up to make it so your teammates aren't even in a position to fuck up the game. They shouldn't have even been in that position if it wasn't for Lamar Jackson. That's why you're a three-time MVP because we want you to not have your most turnovers in the biggest game of the year. I don't think that's if I were to tell you that an MVP caliber player had his most turnovers in the postseason without anything, you would say, yeah, bro, he choked. Yeah, he did. If you choose to have your most turnovers in the playoffs, you'd say, yeah, bro, he got to do better. Where's the accountability for the three-time alleged about to be the three-time MVP? Right? Like that's what I'm saying, bro. The game doesn't come down to one play. It comes down to five or six plays. It comes down to the little details. And when you have your quarterback messing up on those little details, changing the entire way you have to play the football game, yes, that's going to be on him, bro. But yeah, we'll move on because we're pressed for time here. Let's talk about Ben Johnson. So, as we know, Ben Johnson is as he was the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator. He is now gotten hired to be the Chicago Bears head coach. And we all know Caleb Williams is there, so he's going to be working with Caleb Williams. What's your take on this featured story, man? And how far do you think Chicago could go with their illustrious new play caller?
I like it for sure. It was the best possible coach the Bears could have hired. He's obviously an offensive genius. I think this is what Caleb Williams really needs, Entering the second season of his career, I think he needed a guy like Ben Johnson. Like he needed that schemer that can help him like push to his potential because clearly their coaching was bad this season. I mean, they fired their coach mid-season. Their offensive line was also really bad. I mean, I think Caleb took the most hits out of any quarterback in football this year, if I'm not mistaken. So their line was really bad, and they still have to fix their line even despite Ben Johnson. But I do think Ben Johnson is going to help them break out. I think he's also going to help Romeo Dunze break out as well. He was like a big guy entering the draft. Of potential. Obviously DJ Moore is good. Keenan Allen, I mean, he's old, maybe he got a little something left in the tank, but I don't think he's going to be the same Keenan Allen. I mean, even this year, he wasn't. I mean, he started playing well towards the end, but most of the year, I mean, he was pretty mediocre. So Keenan Allen, this is basically the end for him. DJ Moore is good. I think Caleb and Odunze are going to break out next season, though. And I think the Bears, they probably I don't know. I mean, they are in a division with the Lions, Packers, and Vikings. So I don't know if they'll make the playoffs, but they're sure as hell going to be competitive. Like, I definitely think they're going to probably win at least 9 games. I think they're going to go above 500.
Yeah, I mean, I get why Ben Johnson, I get why he took the job. He took it because of Caleb Williams. That's it. He literally took the job because he looked at it and said, I have one of the most talented quarterbacks in the game. Not one of the best because he's not yet, but one of the most from a pure talent perspective. And he wants to use that to his disposal. Now, it's probably the worst division you could have chosen, bro. If I'm being honest, like that's probably the worst division you could have chosen to play in, because they also have three geniuses at head coach in that division. So now you're adding a fourth genius, right? So I mean, bro, that division is well coached, and that's by far the toughest division in all of football. But I do, like the pairing with Caleb. I think they'll do well. I think it'll take a couple years to really, put your stamp your stamp on the NFC North. But I do think they'll be interesting, and nobody's going to want to play them for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, I got them going above 500, but whether they'll make or miss the playoffs, I'll probably have to say miss because yeah, even with Ben Johnson, I mean, you look at it, are they better than the Packers? No. Are they better than the Vikings? No. Are they better than the Lions? Hell no. So it's like, bro, like I mean,
Hell
the,
no.
the division is just too stacked, bro. I mean, maybe they make the playoffs if divisions weren't a thing. Like maybe then I'd give them a shot, but not in this division though. Probably not.
Right, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, guys, that was the show. I hope you guys enjoyed. We went over the Chiefs and Texans, Lions, Commanders, Eagles, Rams, Bills, Ravens, and then we talked about our featured story, which was Ben Johnson getting hired to the Bears. So I want to move on, guys. I want to get to the end of the show. I'm going to remind you guys, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Help us to impact and to reach as many people as possible. With in addition to that, guys, follow us on Rumble, guys, rumble.com. Just keep up podcasts. And guys, follow me on YouTube as well at Kurt's Philosophy if you're interested in the world's deepest, darkest secrets. I'll post that link in the description. We've been doing good with it again. 50 subscribers in 2 weeks, guys. So people are loving it. Get on over there if you're not over there, guys. And then I think that's all I got, guys. So we'll be back to you guys again on Wednesday with the casual Wednesday. And then we'll be on Rumble discussing politics, discussing the inauguration, and discussing the political future for America. So that you definitely don't want to miss that show there. So guys, go check us out again, guys, at Just Keep Up Podcast on Rumble. And then we'll talk to you guys again on Wednesday. All right, guys. Peace.